Might call it a night. We can watch this. Well, let me see.
This video is made possible by Dashlane. Download Dashlane for free if you never want to lose another password again at the link in the description. Bangladesh, February 7th, 2016. The director of the
Let me
Bangladesh
see how this
Central
setup
Bank got
is.
off the elevator on the 9th floor and headed to the back office of the accounts and budgeting department. This was the most restricted part of the building. He was there to deal with a problem, one that had been plaguing the office the last few days. You see,
How do we get rid of
the
$1 billion?
printer was broken. This was kind of a big deal. It was causing a real disruption. The automated printer, which was hooked up to the bank's software, was supposed to work round the clock, 24/7, printing out the bank's transaction reports in real time. Due to this technical glitch, however, the printer tray remained empty. Much of the day was spent trying to fix the issue, and after a great deal of effort, there was success. They were able to restart the printer. And so the backlog of transaction
But they had a
reports
$1 billion
started
deficit?
rolling out, one by one. Now it soon became apparent that something wasn't quite right. There were more statements than expected. When they took a closer look, they found 35 suspicious payment orders for what were ridiculously large sums of money, having supposedly been transferred from the Bangladesh bank's own account to various other accounts in other countries. Certainly, no one from their bank
That's
authorized
cool.
it, and the swift security system in place
Exit
was
Prime Elite.
unreachable. As the director
Thanks,
sifted
Ash.
through the suspicious transfer requests, the true scale of the situation started.
Yeah, I have
coming
to
out.
remove them
The
done.
transfers totaled to almost $1 billion US, an absurd amount, a significant chunk of the nation's reserves. Where were they going? Who was responsible? Panic ensued as the workers scrambled to stop the payments, but it was likely too late. The ill-timed printer malfunction from earlier had caused an unfortunate delay in their response. It seemed Bangladesh had just lost $1 billion.
Oh shit!
This happened in February 2016, but what led to this moment actually started 9 months earlier. Philippines, May 2000.
Why does this sounds kind of familiar? I might have read about this.
A group of men entered the Jupiter Street branch of the RCBC Bank just outside Manila and opened 4 bank accounts with just $500 inside. The men then left, never to return, with their accounts left seemingly abandoned.
Thanks
Now,
to Prime
returning to
Bad at
Bangladesh,
Games.
the country was becoming
Bits
one of the
urban.
fastest growing economies in the world. Their central bank sat in the financial district of the capital, Dhaka, a chaotic city with almost 20 million people. But despite all this rapid growth, it was a nation that could ill afford to lose $1 billion of taxpayers' money.
There's the
Fast
resub
forward,
major in the
January
Prime Sway.
2016, a month before the incident, an employee at the Bangladesh bank was checking his mail at work. Now nothing seemed out of the ordinary. He thought nothing of it. But he
Thanks to
went
Prime
home that
Max.
night not realizing he had just set in motion events that would soon shock the nation's banking system.
That idiot! That fucking
You see,
moron!
He had inadvertently clicked on an infected email.
No!
One that immediately began installing a malicious program
Uh-oh.
in the central bank's computer systems. This malware would allow intruders to enter the network and gain access to the inner workings of the Bangladesh bank. Hiding in plain sight, these intruders could now spy on workers and study the bank's operational procedures. And that's what they did. It was now just a matter of
So how the
time.
fuck does
A
North
month
Korea
later,
know how to
on
do all
Thursday,
this
as the
shit,
bank
but
was
they
shutting
can't
down
make
for
a
the week,
single
which
thing that
unusual
gets
in
into the
countries
air?
like Bangladesh tends to be on a Friday and Saturday instead of a Saturday and Sunday. The intruders once again entered the system, but it was for the last time because this was what it was all leading to. Now, they were in the system, but manipulating international money transfers was a whole nother thing.
Thanks to
you may
Prime
have heard, is a
Mingo,
global
the
payment
resub
network
boob.
enabling financial transactions to be sent in a secure and reliable way, using military-grade security designed to be unbreachable. Just to be clear, SWIFT does not facilitate the transfer of actual funds, but rather it sends
Needs to
trusted
resub
payment
Pesta.
orders between accounts, which the
Hope you've
banks
had a
then
good
act
night.
on. This is the standard in international banking, and this is partly why bank hackers usually focus on stealing the login credentials of individual bank account holders, rather than focusing on the banks themselves. But it wasn't the case here, not for this group. Their target was the institution.
Thanks to the bits,
Using
Jess.
the bank's legitimate SWIFT credentials that they collected from the malware, they were able to take control of the SWIFT terminals, as if they were legitimate bank employees. Yes, SWIFT itself is safe and secure, but the banks using them first needed to be responsible for their individual cybersecurity on their end. If their security happened to be lacking, as in the case with many developing nations, SWIFT could actually be used against them. And that's what was happening here. 35 phony transfer requests totaling $951 million was by now being sent via SWIFT to the Federal Reserve Bank of New York.
Oh.
New York. Well, because the Bangladesh bank owns an account there with billions of